Good afternoon, wherever you'll be when you watch this. I'm Darrell J. Bennett, the CEO of the BSG Global Group, and I'm super excited to have Dr. David Cunic of UCS Advisors here. We're going to talk today really much more, Dr. David. I'm just asking questions. He's the expert here. We're going to be talking about how to attract investors and raise capital. Now, let me just start off by saying this. As you know, the B Squared Global Group, we're really focused on, of course, that strategic mentorship, advisement, tailored coaching to help you get to the next level. But then there are places and spaces we understand that we're just not as good in. And this is one of those things: raising capital, being investable, asking the questions of yourself and of your board and of your team so that way you can raise funds. So this is why we have Dr. David here. You know, we bring together government agencies, investors, MWBEs, SMBs, enterprise companies, as well as suppliers and vendors. So I am super excited for this discussion because many of you who reached out to me or my team over the past several weeks as we've been doing different webinars have said your number one issue is money. No surprise there, right, Dr. David? No
Oh yeah,
surprise.
no surprise at all. And take a step further, be like, well, there's no money out there. No, there's a lot of money out there. You just might not be prepared to take the money.
I like that. I like that. It's there. So let me just introduce you, Dr. David, really quickly. And then I really have a few questions that I just want to ask and then just turn it over to you. For those of you that are listening, just so you know, this is only going to go about 15 to 20 minutes. This is what Dr. David and his team do. There's so much that he could talk about, and there's so much that we can cover. This is just high touch, so you can be introduced, people in my network, to who he is, and you can start your journey or develop your journey in being more investable. So Dr. David is known as Dr. David, but his name is David Cunic, serial entrepreneur, investor relations, and networking expert. Remember, y'all, your network is your net worth, but we'll talk about that later. Dr. David, as most people know him, has raised capital, expanded several companies, and has employed over 300 people. He has clients in over 9 nations and throughout this country, of course. And, you know, for a point of personal just note, he's academically trained in physical therapy. That's where the doctor comes from, healthcare management, professional networking, and cannabis science. I wish we had more time to talk about that. I understand you started and helped several cannabis companies get to the next level. So,
Numerous companies. We're talking well over 30 plus. So
wow. So you come with a wealth of experience. I just want to turn it over to you. I want to start with saying I took your investor quiz. It's on the site. So I'm going to be saying this throughout. I want you to go to the site. Just tell us the site really quickly, Dr. David, and I'm going to make sure.
UCS, which stands for Use Common Sense, but the website's ucsgreatness.com. Once again, ucsgreatness.com. We have an investor ready quiz, and Darrell, with everyone here watching this, people don't know who to turn to, whether or not they're investable. It's not their accountant's job. It's not their lawyer's job. Where do you turn to? So we actually offer a free investor ready quiz, which you took and you got instant results, I believe, correct?
Yes, I did. And they told me I need a lot of work, Dr. David said I need a lot of work. I guess that's a lot, and that's a lot of people. So I want y'all to go take this quiz. That should be at least your first step in engaging with his team. And look, let them know that we sent you. So when you send that over, I'm sure there's an avenue somewhere where they can maybe put something toward the end. Put in BSG,
Yep.
put in BSG Global, put in Darrell, put in webinar, put in something so that way they know we sent you. But what's most important is you get the info. So let's start with this, Dr. David. How do you start the journey to becoming investable? I have a company, I have an enterprise, I just don't know where to turn next. What do I do?
So great question. And let's break it down. Remember, this is a journey. Okay. This is not a, hey, really quick, let's make a quick buck. This is a journey. That's why we call it your capital raising journey. And Darrell, you're in New York, correct?
Yes, I am. The Big
So
Apple.
I know, and the reason I say that is because some people say, do I call it capital raising or fundraising? And the funniest joke I've ever heard is I went with a client to a private investor in Midtown. And the client goes, "Oh yeah, I'm fundraising." The guy stops and goes, "You don't have a fund, son. You're raising money for your own company. So call it capital raising, not fundraising, because you don't own a damn fund." And I was like, "Point noted." So to answer your question directly, where do you start? Okay, here's the thing right now. One, you want to start working with a lawyer to make sure you're kind of doing things appropriately.
Okay.
Secondly, you could probably also going to maybe, whether it's a fractional accountant or a fractional or part-time, someone that can help you with some company financials. But even if that's too far forward and you just don't know, should I form an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp? Should I turn? And that's something where we can help you out with right away. And not only on our investor ready quiz, listen, I am a serial entrepreneur. I have been blessed to have started 17 companies in 20 years. And sometimes there's
So,
someone to talk to. So we actually also offer on our website just a free 45-minute consultation. Let's just talk for 45 minutes. Let's just see where you want to go. The next thing is this. One of the least important is actually your business plan. That's right. Most people think you got to get your business plan, your business plan, your business plan to start. 90% of investors never even look at your business plan,
whoa,
especially if you're
whoa,
a
wait a
startup.
minute.
Yeah.
I hate to interrupt you. What do you mean 90? I never heard that before. Wow.
Well, Darrell, let's just, and I know this is a quick 15, 20 minutes, but let's just think about this objectively.
Okay.
Who needs a business plan? I'm asking, who needs it?
Probably maybe a banker if they want to give you a loan.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Or you and your team, so that way you know how to scale up.
Yeah. And who else needs it? Really, no one. When you think about it. I mean, at the end of the day, if you've never started a company before, you never raised money, are you really going to go out and raise $100 million? No, you're not. Okay. And one thing where our sweet spot is this. Oh, you want to raise more than $10 million? Well, how are you going to raise the first 2 or 3 million? And that's where we come in and we really help out a lot. Another food for thought is this. Darrell, you have a business, BSG. BSG, what if you could get an extra $1 million? Would I help expand the company? Yeah, probably would. So why would you rely on a bank to give you a loan or line of credit? We can go out and raise private money. So that's why people think you got to do the business plan, but in reality, the business plan actually comes second. What you need to think about more is what's your goal, what's your vision, and why you.
What's your
And then
goal?
last but
What's
not
your vision?
least,
Why you? Okay.
what's the ultimate goal for the company? And here's a great example. Like when you say here, know what you want. I love you have this written here. Know what you want. Because when people start a business and they come to us, we say, great. What's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? Like, what's the goal? And we usually get this. Well, Dr. David, I'm not a sellout. I never called you a sellout. But every investor, as well as the bank, wants to know, are you, Darrell, are you doing this company to give it to your family? To maybe build generational wealth? Is your goal to maybe have this be a company that gets acquired one day? If so, by when? Is your goal to maybe keep expanding the company over and over and over again? And a lot of people forget that. And I know a lot of these listeners have maybe heard of Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich.
Mhm.
We use his line all the time. Failure to plan is planning to fail.
Wow.
And that's where we tell people this for the biggest takeaways. One, you think you're ready to meet investors? take the Investor Ready quiz at ucsgreatness.com. Secondly, maybe you don't know where to go. Great. Go to our website, ucsgreatness.com, fill out the information, get a free consultation. Let's just talk for 45 minutes. You know, it's more gets done in a 40-minute conversation than 10 or 20 emails. All right. Now let's take it another step further. Is when it's where do you want to go with your business? Who do you turn to for advice? It's not your accountant. It's not your lawyer. Some people, you might be too early for a business coach. So who do you turn to? And this is where let's take it another level. Some people, they're too early to even have a mentor. Or maybe they don't have a time to be a mentee, even though they want a mentor. And that's where we kind of fill in that gap. And something that's really important, if you notice, the name of the company is UCS Advisors. It's not UCS Consultants. It's UCS Advisors, because there's a big difference between a consultant versus an advisor. And the biggest difference there
is, oh yeah, okay.
As per the Oxford Dictionary, technically speaking, really, a consultant works on a specific problem retroactively. Darrell, you have a problem with your website. I'll bring in a website consultant to help me. Darrell, you're having an issue with your marketing platform. I'll bring in a marketing consultant. While an advisor works on your short-term goals and your long-term goals, ready for this, using a multidisciplinary approach. And here comes the real kicker. They also have real-life experience. That's right. An advisor has real-life experience. So everyone here at UCS Advisors, and once again, UCS stands for Use Common Sense. All our advisors have started a company, have raised money for their own company, and have also sold a company. So, well, as we tell people, the best place for you to fail is here with us. That's why we're advisors. And that's why we help you figure out, know what you want.
You know, I just have to say this. You know, I do probably once a week session like this with an expert. I learned so much when I'm talking to you. I mean, really, I will never call myself a consultant again. I never knew that was the difference. And being trained in law and words, I never thought of what the difference would be. That is, wow, that's eye-opening. So let me ask you this. Okay, you know, when you say know what you want, what does that look like? I'm sure you have people that come to you and say, I want 500,000 or I need $2 million to expand. Right. But I know you shared with me that the amount that you need is just the first part of knowing what you want. Right.
Correct.
I mean, so talk to us a little bit about what does that look like, knowing what you want?
So we teach all our clients here at ucsgreatness.com that it's called the positive power of negative preparation. Once again, the positive power of negative preparation. So Darrell, someone wants $500,000. Great. Let's analyze that. Are you looking for what type of investor are you looking for? One investor, or multiple investors? Are you giving away board seats, voting rights? Are they going to be paying dividends? Or is it going to be a waterfall moment when they get one big cash out? You know, the positive power of negative preparation is figuring out every potential scenario that you might get asked, Darrell, and having a potential answer for it done ahead of time. And that goes back to Napoleon Hill. Failure to plan is planning to fail.
It's planning to fail.
Exactly. And so part of it too is also just perspective. And that's why I'm really happy about consultant versus advisor. I'm very adamant. People call us a consultant. I correct them right away. I'm like, no, we are an advisor. There's a big difference. Because I'll say to people, oh, you're a consultant that's giving you advice. How many companies have they started? How much money have they raised? How many have they sold?
Yeah.
They go, none, none, none. I go, okay, so I need knee surgery. So I'm going to go to my dentist. to have them do my knee surgery. It makes no sense.
All the time. It seems like, wow. So tell us this, right? And I know we talked a bit about mastering the pitch. You say people come up to you. I know you shared this with me privately. People come and
Oh,
you'll because you go to investor conferences. You're always at investor conferences, or
right.
investors are coming to you. Excuse me, people who need investment capital are coming to
Yep.
you, and they say, well, I need 30 minutes to go over my deck, or I need to pull up my PowerPoint. I think this kind of goes a little bit with what you want. When you say master your pitch, what does that look like for the average business owner that's looking for capital?
You have 2 minutes. No PowerPoints, no slides, no nothing. And either one or two things are going to happen after that, those 2 minutes. Either one, next deal, pass, hard no, do not pass go, do not collect $200, big X, whatever you want to call it, just next deal. Or you do a good job on your 2-minute pitch, Darrell. I want to learn more. Let's keep talking. And this is where, and you see I'm wearing a pin, something that we teach people, raising money can be difficult. So what we do is we teach people PMA, positive mental attitude. If you're a solopreneur, you're a first-time business owner. If you're a business owner and you're going through some tough times, it's tough to keep that positive mental attitude. So that's something we really teach our clients, because that's part of mastering your pitch. You have to be positive. You can't talk about if the markets are doing poorly. You can't talk about how tough it is. No, you need to master your pitch. And for all their clients, we actually give our clients the blueprint on actually how to break down, create their 2-minute pitch. Like this part, 10 to 15 seconds. This part, 15 to 25 seconds. This part, 10 seconds. So mastering your pitch is this. It's using that positive power of negative preparation. And also, when you're mastering your 2-minute pitch, having 3 or 4 versions. Darrell, you're in the Big Apple. You're a
Mhm.
city guy. How I give a 2-minute pitch to you is be much different than I give a 2-minute pitch to my client in South Dakota, who's from the Midwest. My 2-minute pitch to you in the Big Apple is be much different than my 2-minute pitch to my clients over in Germany.
Know
So,
your audience.
exactly. And that's part of mastering your pitch. And that's what we tell people, the best place for you to fail is here with us at ucsgreatness.com.
Yeah, yeah. And you say that your team does both, right? It does both teaching and do it for you, right? So for those
Yeah.
that come and just say, look, uh, I know you say you have some clients that just you all go out and raise the capital for them, but then you have, because I know I mean, clearly you're an educator. I mean, that's coming across here, Dr. David,
Yep.
right? That nobody calls you doctor, right? About being an educator too. So you also teach the skills behind being investable, mastering your pitch. What talk to us a little bit about that. What is the capacity building work that happens with your clients when they come to you?
So 98% of our clients come to us and say, show me the money, give me the money. But not, like I said, 98% though, here's the real trick. They're not investable yet. They're like a dirty green nugget, and our job is to shape them up, mold them into a nice, shiny green diamond. Or people in New York that know the Diamond District, a green emerald. All right. Why do I bring this up? Is that many people are missing key elements, or they're lacking key capital raising skills to become investable. Let's take it another level up. I post literally 5 days a week on LinkedIn. People forget how much money you can get just from meeting people on LinkedIn. But more importantly, some people have heard maybe someone called Mark Cuban. He's on a little show called Shark Tank. Have you ever
I
heard of
think
it?
I've heard of him before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or you may have heard some guy named Richard Branson. If,
Uh-huh.
you know, if you read their books, listen to their audios, they always say, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, your very first rule is learning how to raise money. Your very first skill is learn how to raise money. And I joke around, my business mentor, point blank, didn't have Instagram, didn't have crowdfunding, didn't have LinkedIn. He had something called a telephone. You actually call people and talk to them. So part of capital raising skills, to answer your question directly, is it's learning proper networking skills. It's learning proper communication skills. It's learning the lost art of this conversation. We tell all our clients, if it takes more than 3 emails or more than 3 text messages, we pick up the phone and we call. And it's learning and getting comfortable in that skill set. And also, too, when people come to us, everyone can be a little bit different. And I'm going to give 2 quick analogies. We have a client in New York City. The guy's 68 years old. He goes, I'm just too old. Create my pitch deck, create my one-page teaser, just do it for me. Do the whole thing for me. And we said, great, we'll do that. But before we show you to any investor, you have to present to us not once, but twice within 10 minutes. Your presentation. He's like, yeah, I know I need help with that. Thank you. And so we're focusing on him just on his presentation skills. And we're doing a lot of the back work. We got some other clients. We got a couple in Brooklyn. Brooklyn seems to be really bumping right now of new businesses. So we got a couple new clients in Brooklyn. And you know what? They're in their late 20s, early 30s. And they said, hey, Dr. Dave and the UCS Advisors team, we want to do our first round of our pitch deck, our executive summary, our elevator pitch on our own so we can learn and then correct our mistakes, please. Great, we can do that too. Everyone is a little bit different on the spectrum. And people ask, Dr. David, what makes you all different than your competitors? And here's the secret sauce. I'm a medical guy by trade. I take a medical approach towards business. Everyone learns differently. Everyone has a different business. There's nothing that's cookie cutter. Everything has to be custom made for a patient. And, hopefully that answers your question a little bit about learning those capital raising skills. And, that's being adaptable, being flexible and stuff like that.
Which you definitely need to be now. I mean, that's I appreciate that you started by saying it's a journey, Dr. David, your capital raising journey. I know I've learned a lot through this. I appreciate you just being so generous, not just with your time, but with your wisdom. I think, I think this is a good place to kind of start bringing this to a landing, and thanks for your time, is that there are many communities where this information is just not known. There's
Yeah.
many communities where people just they don't even know where to start. They might know how to get a loan or how to try to maybe get one. But when you start talking about private hands, investors, VCs, angels, I mean, it's just like, beyond what you saw on Shark Tank, it almost seems, elusive. So I want to encourage everyone who's listening. You can engage with Dr. David in 2 ways. One, you can take a snapshot of this QR link or go to one of these emails, and we can have a conversation with you and send you over to Dr. David. Or you can just reach out, and we'll make sure when we email this out to our listings and our networks that you have the website to go directly to. That's UCS. I love that. Greatness.com. And I love how you say on there, you want to help the business owners, or you're there to help the business owners, achieve their
Their
greatness.
greatness.
Their
And,
greatness.
Darrell, you can also look us up on LinkedIn. Okay.
Yes.
Feel free to look at me directly on LinkedIn. And something we do here is Dr. David's Green Nugget Advisory Tips. And
Okay.
as a medical guy, it's my job to empower and educate you with knowledge. So, Darrell, I know you want to land this, and I think what we should do is give every listener one piece of advice that they can use right away, and they can
Do it.
implement literally right away.
Right and actionable.
If you are a new business and someone wants to take a piece of equity of your company right away in exchange for services, be cautious. Your equity is your baby. Would you give away hey, I'm going to help you, but I want to own your left arm of your baby. Or, hey, I'll help you, but if your baby becomes some athlete or vets something, because your baby's only 6 months old, I want 10% of it. No, run the other way. I'm going to tell you the biggest mistake made so often with startup companies and founders is they exchange services for equity. We don't take any equity in your company at all.
Wow.
So for you, the business owner, you who's trying to maybe raise money, if someone's like, hey, give me a piece of your company, I'll help you might want to think twice. And here's a
Twice.
great example. There are lawyers, and I love lawyers. I've worked with a lot of lawyers, but there are lawyers who literally work with 10 to 20 startups at the same exact time and take a piece of their company, knowing that 90% of them will fail. They're just hedging their bets. That's all. So to all the founders, all the startups, if someone's going to offer you help in exchange for a piece of your company, think twice about that. Protect your equity, protect your baby.
Protect your equity. And I really want to push everybody. You need to take that quiz. You need to take Dr. David's investor quiz. I know for me, it made me think about some things. It just in our own business, and I talk with my team about it. We're definitely going to be leveraging you because it's some things that we had never even really considered on the level that we needed to. And this is one of the things we're taught in law school consistently. It's not the statement, it's the question. It's the question. And just being asked the question and just going through the questions is going to open your mind to see, I need an advisor. I need someone to help take me to the next level. I need to go beyond just information on the internet and have a one-to-one conversation with someone who's been there, done that, got the t-shirt, literally, and the pen, PMA,
PMA, positive
to
mental
match.
attitude.
I want to give you the last word, Dr. David, because I want you to talk to us if you can. What does PMA mean to you?
I've had highs and I've had a lot of lows. I know firsthand what it's like to make money. I know firsthand what it's like to lose money. And some days, let's just call a spade a spade. You just don't want to get out of bed. The whole world's against you. And you got to maintain that positive mental attitude. And a lot of people forget something that I preach every day that I do myself is I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. I write down 3 opportunities I have today. And I also write down 3 things going right in my life. And so for PMA, for me, it's maintaining that positive mental attitude. As a medical guy by trade, I have a big heart. I want to help. I want to heal. And one thing I've always noticed when it comes to business owners is this. We all have greatness within us, but are you willing to achieve your greatness? Everyone has a different definition of greatness, but are you willing to achieve your greatness? And that's why the website's ucsgreatness.com. And that's why we give away these pins all the time. We went to a conference recently and we actually had the governor of Illinois wearing a pin for a minute. Where it's like, hey, that's a great idea. Like people come to us, say, what does PMA mean? It means positive mental attitude. And also, too, let's pick on New York City. New York, it can be a dog eat dog world. There's a lot of
Yes.
negativity. And you will be amazed how each time I'm doing business in New York, I always carry at least 4 or 5 of these pins in my pockets. And I'll give them out. And a great example is not even 2 weeks ago, I was in New York City and the bartender was overswamped and just dragged out. And I just looked at her and I said, hey, just thank you for your help. She goes, what do you want? I go, I just want to say thank you. I have a drink. I'm okay. And she just went, that's it? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you're busting your butt. I don't think people are tipping you that much at this event. I just want to say thank you for your time. And I know things will be rough. I gave her a pin. She started to cry.
I was going to say, I'm sure that made her day.
And she's like, you're the first person just to thank me. And I'm like, listen. So that's what PMA means to me. It's a way to pay it forward. And sometimes it's just a little token that can go a long way. So, as we tell people here at UCS Advisors, always be willing to achieve your greatness, maintain that positive mental attitude, and we're here for you. We've been in your shoes. That's why we're advisors. We're not consultants, we're advisors. We've been in your shoes. We know what it feels like. So we can actually show empathy rather than sympathy.
Rather than sympathy. Look, thank you, Dr. David. I'm so grateful, one, that we met, what, about a year ago,
Yeah,
Gracie
Grayson
Mansion,
Mansion.
in that room off the side when the mayor's folks were speaking. And I remember you helped me take a picture because I was like, I didn't know you were at this. I was like, can you take a picture of me? I was in front of a portrait, and then we started
Yeah.
talking. And look, it turned into a beautiful working relationship where, you know, I'm seeing exactly what you do, and I appreciate you sharing this with my networks. Again, go to UCS Advisors, excuse me, UCSGreatness.com. You can take the investor quiz, or you can reach out to us directly, and we'll make sure you get we traffic direct you over there. Let Dr. David know we sent you. BSG, you could say webinar, you could say global, you could say Darrell. I just really am excited. And I love the fact of empowering and educating people, because that's what, and all you're getting is something I often repeat. We want you to get understanding. So I thank you. I thank you for that, Dr. David. I appreciate you, and thank you everybody for listening. And until next week, next webinar, next expert, I can't wait to see you again.
And Darrell, thank you for what you're doing. Give yourself a round of applause because you're empowering, you're educating so many people in the community. And that's what it's about, paying it forward, paying it forward, paying it forward. So kudos to you for what you're doing. And thank you for that, man. And thank you for having me on today and trusting me to be on this with you today. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Dr. David. Thank you all.